And this guy, like absolute beast, he had one in his hand, and he's like, "Oh, I got Heart of Kieran right here." And I was like, "Really? Will you sell it to me because it's the last piece I need for my Karn in my mono green deck?" And he's like, "Bro, yeah." And I'm like, "How much?" He's like, "Give me $1." I'm like, "Here is your dollar, sir. Thank you. You are a god of magic. I appreciate it. And you have a nice day because you're the man." To the stream. I'm idle. I have a different stream today. Gonna be talking about Atlanta, Georgia Dreamhack. It's a modern tournament in 2022. Last year I went to it. It was at the World Congress Center. It's a 3-day immersive gaming lifestyle festival, and it returned to Atlanta for the ultimate weekend experience for the first time since before the pandemic in 2019. First off, 3 of the things that were at the Dreamhack: Rocket League, Magic, and I mean they had as many games as you could think of. They had all the games, StarCraft 2, but the only ones I cared about was Rocket League, Magic, and then the third thing was the monster kiosk. You could get endless monsters, all you wanted. I think I maybe got 3. Surprised I'm not dead, to be honest. I kept getting the peach ones. The peach ones are the best. They had a bunch of good artwork, a bunch of amazing artists, and I didn't end up purchasing any, but man, it was fun to look at. It was fun to check out. I picked up Mono Green. I ended up, like I know I said I wanted to play Phoenix, but I actually had accrued enough value, and the same dude had all the pieces to Mono Green. So I was like, yo, just give me Mono Green. Just give me the whole thing. Except for like the Karn targets, which I was able to acquire through a lot of my local game store people had the pieces that like extra that I could use, so I borrowed them from them. So I'm really glad that I had those connections and was able to just put that together and play the deck. You know, I was trying to like do green math and figure out how to, you know, how much devotion it takes to make Nykthos make enough mana to go infinite, and trying to do that. And it was like the first time I'd played the deck in paper. It was very difficult. And then like at the hotel, I'm sitting there trying to like trying to goldfish and just, all right, I'm gonna see how many it takes, and if someone is to ask me to go infinite and actually play it out, like how do you actually do that? So that's what I was working on because I hadn't played the deck before. So moving on. As I was collecting these Karn targets, the last card that I needed was Heart of Kieran, which is a vehicle. I believe it's Crew 3, but the point of the card in the deck is to essentially pull loyalty from your planeswalkers to kill them so that you can get targets in your graveyard to get back in your hand. So like after using Karn, after using Kiora, you would have this out on the field in order to put them back in the graveyard so that using infinite mana, you could recast them. So that's kind of where that comes in. Recently, I saw this deck in Explorer, which is mono green, which is one of my favorite decks in Explorer. Aetherflux Reservoir. And it's just like, yo, I'm mono green, I'm going to cast a million spells, then I'm just going to kill you. That seems like the easiest shit. So moving forward, I don't know if it's like worse than doing the combo, but I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to search for Aetherflux Reservoir, I'm going to cast it, and I'm going to kill you, and I'm not going to try all this like... I mean, he still had Pestilent Cauldron, so he could like recast his planeswalkers and stuff, but you know, with like the Chain Veil, man, and then you start doing math, and God forbid if they want you to keep going and like actually math it out, because you know, maybe some people are down for that. I mean, math is my least favorite subject, and I've gotten a little bit better playing Magic, but as people probably know, I can't read. As people know about Magic players, y'all should know Magic players can't read either. There's words, there's letters on these cards. People can't read. They can't read and they don't. Magic players can't read. It's true. Oh man. So, so all right, this the last card I was missing was Heart of Kieran. And I was going around to the vendors. I was like, "Yo, you got this?" No. I asked all the vendors, nobody had it. And I'm like asking my people, they didn't have it. I'm like actually just going around to random people asking like, "Yo, do you have Heart of Kieran? I kind of need one. I really need one." And they're like, "Nah, man." So I'm like I'm standing and I'm like, "Yo," I'm like asking people, like individual people, like, "Yo, you got Heart of Kieran?" And this guy, like an absolute beast, he had one in his hand and he's like, "Oh, I got Heart of Kieran right here." And I was like, "Really? Will you sell it to me? Because it's the last piece I need for my Karn in my mono green deck." And he's like, "Bro, yeah." And I'm like, "How much?" He's like, "Give me $1." I'm like, "Here is your dollar, sir. Thank you. You are a god of magic. I appreciate it. And you have a nice day because you're the man." So the second thing, which is the highlight, this is like, I mean, the whole trip was awesome. You know, I stayed with my best bud. We had a good time. It was fun. But the most fun, I guess I would say the most fun I had was this one match, dude. All right, so I sit down. My opponent just got off of a roof. He is a career roofer. He had just eaten an entire can of Vienna sausages and then came to play Magic. I mean, he was swinging a hammer up there, and he's like, "Yo, I gotta go do this RCQ. I'll be back." Like, guys, y'all hold it down up here. So he sits down. I'm like, "What's up? Hey, how you doing?" I'm playing. So this is modern. I'm playing creativity, and basically, it is a spell that flips a creature out of your library onto the battlefield. It flips into what I was playing was Archon of Cruelty, which is really popular right now. At this point in time, creativity is and was the most popular deck. I wasn't running any of the Leyline binding, the 6-drop white enchantment to control the board. I wasn't running any of that. Just actually, I was running persist, 3 persist, and 3 of the 1 in a red enchantment that comes into play, and you can discard a card and draw 2 cards to try to like enable this, and also has a next turn you can pay 1 and give, or this turn you can pay 1 and give your creatures haste. So it's like this beast of a, not combo, but kind of combo. And I never did it the whole time. The whole time I was there, I never like played it and Archoned them and gave it haste on turn 3. I wanted to, but I never did. I got close. All right, back to the match. So I sit down with the career roofer. He just got done eating Vienna sausage, and we sit down. He's playing Selesnya, white and green, and I'm like, this is weird. I don't know what he's doing. He's like, I'm not sure what's going on. He's leaving mana open. I've never seen. It's not hammer. It's not scales. I'm like, what is this guy doing? This is weird. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna do my thing. I came to play, so I'm gonna make a dwarf off a dwarven mine. I got my dude. I'm gonna target my dude. I'm like, all right, turn 4. Actually, I believe it was turn 6 because I was waiting to try to see what he was gonna do. So let's say it was turn 6, and I'm like, I'm gonna go for creativity for 1, and I got 2 mana open. So he's like, all right, in response to your creativity, maybe he picked up on what I was doing. He must have, because I'm chilling, and I'm like, I'm gonna creativity for 1. Does that resolve? And he's like, no, I'm gonna play my Containment Priest, my main deck Containment Priest, which says if a creature comes into play, and it wasn't cast, exile it. So he flashes in. It's a 2/2 creature. It's 1 and a white. It has flash. So he flashes this thing in response to me, going for creativity. Comes into play. I said, okay, okay. So I take a lightning bolt from my hand and I bolt that shit. And he's like, oh, of course. Of course. Okay. Okay. So I'm like, all right, I'm out of the woods. That was it. I mean, where the hell did that come from? Who has main deck Containment Priest? But, he does. Cool. All right, we're good. I was glad it wasn't Hallowed Moonlight, because that kind of would have blown me out there. Then he plays another Containment Priest, and I'm like, what? Another Containment Priest. Okay, okay. So I take the second lightning bolt from my hand, and I bolt that motherfucker, and this guy loses his shit. He's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, and it wasn't in a happy way. He's like, I fucking hate this game. And if he could have flipped that table, he would have flipped that table, dude. He got up, he was huffing, he was like, oh. I mean, dude, the salt was flowing. And I'm a very composed player. When I'm playing, I'm focused. I'm like laser focused. I'm in the moment. I'm here. I'm not laughing. I'm there. And his reaction to me doing that, dude, I lost my shit. I was laughing my ass off at this because he was so mad, dude. Oh my God, he was mad. And I mean, dude, I love salt, man. I just eat that shit up. I eat that shit for breakfast. It's good. It's good stuff, man. So, alright. So that went down. He played, I bolted his second Containment Priest. My Archon resolved. And eventually I attacked and I killed him. I had no idea what the hell he's doing. So I'm like, alright, we're going to go to game 2. Game 2 rolls around. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, alright, what is he doing? And I probably played a Prismari command. I drew some cards. I drew a couple extra cards. He hasn't drawn any cards. And that's going to be relevant in a minute. And I'll tell you why. So I'm like, I passed the turn. I don't know what the hell he's doing. He Cocos, Collected Company, 3 and a green for look at the top 6 of your library and put 2 3 or less creatures into play. So he Cocos into a Heliod and a Spike Feeder. And I'm like, what in the grandpa modern Magic the Gathering is going on here, dude? I've never seen this deck. I started playing Magic at when Modern Horizons 2... okay, hang on. Let me back up. I came back to Magic during Modern Horizons 2 to play Modern. I didn't play before that in Modern. I played plenty of Magic before that, but in Modern, I joined it at Modern Horizons 2. So I had never seen any of this Heliod Spike Feeder bullcrap. I called a judge just to confirm. I'm not gonna ask this dude, that dude. I'm like, yo, I've never seen this. Is this working how I think it works? He's correct. Just confirm. He's like, yeah, that's how it works. I'm like, okay, cool. You got. He's gaining infinite life. His deck has more cards than mine. You got it. All right, that's fine. Go to game 3. Game 3. For game 3, I'm sideboarding and I'm like, all right, dude, this is a crunked up combo, 2-card combo. I'm like, what the hell am I gonna do? Let me just explain. Heliod says, whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or enchantment you control. So, Spike Feeder says it's a creature. It's a 0/0. It says it enters the battlefield with 2+1/+1 counters on it. And then it has an ability that says remove a 1/1 counter from Spike Feeder. You gain 2 life. So this removing a 1/1 counter is going to gain life for the opponent, triggering Heliod, causing him to put a 1/1 counter back on Spike Feeder, which is infinite. So that's an infinite 2-card combo, which I learned at that tournament. So game three, sideboarding for game 3, I have like 1 card in my deck that's actually going to help me, and it's called Dress Down. I put my 1 of Dress Down in the deck, and in case you're not familiar with Dress Down, it's a 1 and a blue enchantment with flash, and it says when Dress Down enters the battlefield, draw a card, but the most important part says creatures lose all abilities. This is very unassuming. As you read that, you're like, this does nothing. But I drew my 1 of Dress Down, and in the game 3, with my Dress Down in hand, opponent plays Heliod on turn 3. I'm like, okay, so I'm probably about to die. I'm going to hold this Dress Down. Turn 4, he casts Spike Feeder. I cast Dress Down in response. He kind of looks at me puzzled. He looks at the card with this contorted face, and he's like, let me read that. So he reads the Dress Down, and he's like, what does this do? And I'm like, well, let me explain it to you. So Dress Down hits the board. Spike Feeder is a 0/0, and essentially comes into play with 0 abilities, meaning it doesn't get the enter the battlefield text on it. It has 0 text. It is a whatever the card says, which is a 0/0. So it's going to come into play and simply die. He's like, I don't know about that. Judge! So he calls the judge. The judge comes over, and the judge is like, what y'all got going on here? And he's like, well, this Dress Down card here, it says, it says creatures lose all abilities. But Spike Feeder here, that enter the battlefield, that's not an ability. That's just what it does. So, okay. Judge's like, no, that's incorrect. Spike Feeder loses its abilities. It comes into play with no abilities. 0/0 dies. Just kind of mirroring what I said. And so he doesn't like that. So he's like, yo, dude, let me get the head judge over here. I need like a second opinion because this I don't think this is right. So he calls the head judge over here. Head judge comes over here. He's like, what's going on? He explains the situation, and he's like, he looks at the Dress Down. He looks at the Spike Feeder. He's like, yeah. Dress Down causes Spike Feeder to lose all his abilities, man. I'm sorry, your creature's dead. And the dude was like, man, okay, man. I mean, finally he like came to terms with it, and then I ended up. I'm pretty sure I took game 3. I kind of want to like. I'm pretty sure I took game 3. I don't think he won that one. I did not do well in the tournament overall. But in my heart, I won that match because I think I clocked him before he got to put his 2-card combo into play. Anyway, so that was the crazy story. That was the craziest story. One more thing I want to mention. So it was that was like I think my 3rd match. My 2nd match, before my 2nd match had started, I saw a kiosk with my local game store, and there was this pretty girl up there, and I was like, bro, I know I'm at a nerd convention, but like, she's a nerd because she works at a game store, right? So I'm gonna like go over here and like, throw on my charm and like shoot my shot, at the game convention, because all the like hot dogs are flying at her, but I'm at least gonna throw my hot dog, you know what I'm saying? So I did. I'm like talking to this girl. I'm like, oh, what's up? How you doing? Like, cool. I'm just, down here, whatever. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, I got to get to my tournament. I got to get to my match. And I talked to her for like maybe a minute. I go to my match, and then I look at my opponent, and he's like already sitting down. He's got like his like glasses on. And he looks at me. He's like, oh, hey, yeah, as I'm sitting down, over the speaker it says, begin. And he's like, oh, well, Judge. And then he looks at me and he's like, well, the judge said that when you show up, I have to call another judge. I'm like, I was here. And he's like, that's just what the judge said. So the judge comes over and he's like, why were you late? And I'm like, dude, I was talking to a girl. And he's like, game loss. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me, dude? He's like, well, we have to be really tight around here about this stuff. And that set the tone for the rest of my fucking day. And it shouldn't have. And I know that shit happens, but like, so we played our first match. Dude's on mono red and just burns my ass. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. All right, cool. Cool. Good game. And I 100% did not say good game. And I picked up my shit and walked away. I was so mad. It's hard to stay untilted with these things. It's hard to stay untilted. Okay. All right. So my overall experience for for Atlanta, Georgia was okay. At the end of the day, I appreciate the memories. I don't appreciate going to Atlanta. Honestly, they should just nuke the whole state. Like, it was 10 p.m. on a Tuesday night. 10 p.m. on a Tuesday night on a 6-lane highway, and it was dead stop traffic with no accidents. Just nuke the whole state. We really don't need Atlanta, actually. Yeah. I don't like that place. My buddy asked if I wanted to go there and to the next Dreamhack in Atlanta this year, and I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't think I want to spend $500, to be honest with you. I think I'm out. I think I'm really out on that. I don't want to do that at all. Nope. Look, Magic is not a poor person's game. Or if you have money, you will be poor after participating in Magic because it costs so fucking much money to play the damn thing. Dude, they're hungry for that money. And I they got to get paid. I understand that, but like, to the level of their hunger for cash, it's predatory and I don't like it. Hate giving wizards money. Anyway, appreciate you listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's it. Peace.